Moses was butter bread. Being the son of Pharaoh's daughter, he was raised up in the palace. He had so much freedom. He learned so much. He had seen pleasure and prosperity till he was 40 years old. 40 is the age of wisdom. Till he was 40 years old. He was matured, fully blown. So all the 40 years of being around the palace of Pharaoh, Moses was being groomed to become the next Pharaoh. Because Pharaoh's daughter had no child. So she was crying to the God of the water. She didn't go to take a bath. She went to cry to the God of the river. Because that's what her father taught her. If you study Exodus chapter 7, the first plague, God said to Moses, he said, go and confront Pharaoh. Because as he leaves now, he goes to the water. That was why the first plague was that Moses stretched his rod and the fish died. The water turned to blood. It was not the color that changed. It was something that died. So God had to attack the major gods of the Egyptian. Why do you think that Pharaoh had the audacity when he heard they were in the Red Sea? He said, let's meet them there. Because the water always worked in their favor. But that day the water gave way. The water gave way. But God allowed the children of Israel, first of all, to step on the water before the water gave way. Why? All the mud on their feet, all the dust of Egypt, God needed to wash it from their legs. All the dust, all the mud of Egypt, all the dust of Egypt, God needed them to wash off their legs. Take away the sand and the dust of Egypt. Clean up your leg. But for them, as they stepped to the water parted. The water gave way. Am I communicating right now? Am I communicating? So God took Moses and said, Moses, you are going to lead a set of people for 40 years in the wilderness. So at the age of 40, I need to take you out of Egypt, to take you to the wilderness and keep you there for 40 years to teach you street life. Because as you spend 40 years there, your people that you are raising are going to also spend 40 years in the wilderness. So God took him to the wilderness for 40 years to prepare him for another 40 years of leading the people out of Egypt into the promised land. Hear me. The problem of Egypt was Moses. It took Moses a long time to learn what he should learn in the wilderness. If Moses had spent 30 years in the wilderness, Israelites would have spent 30 years. If Moses had spent 20, the people would have spent 20. But because Moses spent 30 years for preparation, that is why they spent 30 years. And you know, God had to arrest Moses. There are so many of you now, you are the problem of your generation. So long you are running in your family, Satan is reigning. So long you are not praying, Satan is having a field day. Moses was the problem of Egypt until God arrested him at the backside of the mountain. Hear me? Don't prepare in battle. Prepare for battle.